Hey everyone, Jonathan here from the Orlando Museum of Art's First Thursdays team. As you can see, we are done setting up the Create, Listen, Learn First Thursdays event that is running now through Sunday, August 9. During our normal hours, you can come check it out. Our hours are on our website. It is part of the First Thursdays program, a community project, and you will be able to also vote for your favorite piece and artist. There'll be a link somewhere around here that can tell you how to vote for your favorite, and we are looking forward to seeing you. There's going to be a live stream on Thursday as well at 6 p.m. with us and our partners for the event, Black Orlando Tech. And from Black Orlando Tech now is going to be Kelda.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. We are so excited to have you join us. My name is Kelda Senior, and I am with Black Orlando Tech. If you haven't heard of Black Orlando Tech, better known as BOT, you are certainly missing out. We are an amazing organization, a nonprofit organization on a mission to accelerate the economic empowerment of minorities, particularly Black minorities. And we're doing that through our favorite thing, technology, tech careers, tech entrepreneurship endeavors, tech startups. Our organization is all about helping to empower minorities into tech. And so we have this wonderful mission of training and inspiring 10,000 minorities to enter into tech careers or tech entrepreneurship journeys by the year 2025. So we certainly welcome your support and your collaboration. We're pursuing our mission through several different mediums, through partnerships like our one with OMA, and through programs, which are being broadcast right now on your screen. We have several different initiatives coming up. The most recent is our tech cohorts, which are kicking off actually this week. So if you're interested in learning a new high demand tech skill, we invite you to check out our website, blackorlandotech.org, learn more about our programs and initiatives, and learn how you can join us and be a part of our journey of inspiring minorities to enter into tech careers, because we know the power and the flexibility that technology careers can provide. So I'm excited to be a part, and Ricardo's here. The king of Nerd Night is joining us as well. What's up, Ricardo?
Hi, how you doing, Kelda? It's good to see you.
Hey.
Wait, did you refer to the king of Nerd Night?
I mean, unless there's another title, the king, the prince of Nerd Night. I mean,
I am honored. I am honored for such a title. But I would refer to, we like to call ourselves like bosses. I'm a Nerd Night boss, so, and I just like the word boss in general. So.
I like boss better. And Ricardo, tell us about Nerd Night for those who don't know.
So Nerd Night is an event that I've been hosting for about 7 years now, where we bring together guest speakers every month, and each one is able to give a talk or presentation about something they're very passionate about. So we've covered as you can imagine, we've had 3 speakers a month, every month for 7 years. So we've covered a wide range of topics. We've had NASA scientists talk about growing cannabis in space. We've had public school teachers talk about, why flags look a certain way. The whole spectrum of things you can nerd out about. We've talked about it, and it's been a real treat to be able to organize and host this event since 2013. Sadly, obviously, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we haven't had an in-person event since February, actually, this is the longest I haven't been a boss nerd of anything. So this is a very unusual time for me, But yeah, Nerd Night it will be back, and we still do some online programming with our other cities, and we'll be doing one actually with National Geographic. We're doing 4 events with them in September of this year. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It'll be live streaming through their platforms.
Super cool. And what's the website and social medias?
So it'll be nerdnight.com, nerdnite.com. That's our website. And of course, Nerd Night Orlando specifically, we are active on all major social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously not TikTok, sadly, may they rest in peace. And we're actually going to be launching a brand new website very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that as well.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm Ricardo. I don't know about you. Oh, we have a Glenn's
Hey,
here.
Glenn.
Hi, Glenn.
Heyo. Hello. Good to see you,
Glenn.
Kelda and Ricardo.
Hey, how you
Good to
doing?
see you.
See ya.
Perfect timing. We're just getting started. We talked a little bit about bot. Ricardo talked a little bit about Nerd Night. And since you're here, Glenn, we'd love to hear a little bit more about you and what you do at UCF. Go Knights.
Yeah, so I am currently at the John C. Hitt Library. We are, getting it prepared for all of Unites that are coming back in the fall. And so I am currently the Community Outreach Chair for the College of Arts and Humanities Alumni Board. I'm also on the Diversity Week Committee here at the library. So just, getting involved, getting, everyone together to kind of celebrate diversity and bring all the Knights together just to show that we are stronger together. And so if I could plug really quick that our Diversity Week is October 19th through the 23rd. So feel free to go to ucf.edu, or you can even go to guides.ucf.edu/diversity week. You can see all the events that we have coming up. So yeah, I'm here to serve the communities. I'm here to reach out to everyone, get to know you folks better, and support Orlando Museum of Art in this endeavor. And so yeah, let's do it. Charge on.
Glenn forgot to mention that he's a very, very talented musician. I saw him play.
Oh my.
I saw him play at the library. Remember that?
Yeah, I believe it was about 2 years ago. That was with Orange County Library System. I was with them for a while, and yes, it was for their Black History event, which is great.
Yeah.
It's an annual event. They do great work over there. So yeah, Ricardo got to see me throw down.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Really?
I was speaking, and I just happened to walk in late, of course, and I saw you on stage playing the keyboard, and I'm like, this is amazing. I didn't know that was a talent you had.
Yes, it is. Music is a long part of my my background. Actually, briefly studied music here at UCF. Was a piano student, but all that to say, glad you enjoyed it. I think you were in a really cool outfit, as per usual, that day too.
I was, I have a buddy of mine who's from Africa. He's from specifically Liberia, and he brought me back some handmade dashikis. So
wow.
I wore one for that particular event, for the Black History Month event that we did.
So cool.
Not because it had anything to do with what I was talking about. It just
gotta represent, man. When you can. Yeah.
I just want to let people know that my dashiki wasn't from Magic Mall or down
there
there.
You go.
It was actually from Africa.
Stamp of authenticity.
Their hands, and I just wanted to show that off.
Indeed. So amongst the three of us, geez, we just have so much to offer, and I'm so excited to share this time with you all. Like I really am. This is great.
Yeah, this is dope. Ricardo, you should have wore your dashiki tonight.
You know what? That's actually good.
Well, you know what?
It's a little late now.
Thursday.
I can wear it Thursday.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go. I'll show up in my Black Panther shirt on the forever.
Cool.
Very
well,
nice.
I mean, the timing of this is kind of perfect. The timing of this live tonight. And I'm not sure if Jimmy and the OMA team were in cahoots with Beyonce, but the release of tonight's live in conjunction with Queen Bee's Black is King through Disney, I think is kind of perfect. And we're talking about this amazing exhibit that OMA is now putting on, Create, Listen, Learn, which we're going to get into some of these works in a little bit. But I kind of just want to, before we get into some of the artwork, I want to just kind of get you guys' insight and your viewpoint with everything kind of going on right now. There's this kind of this merge of social justice awareness in conjunction with like Black empowerment and minority empowerment. And I'd love to kind of get your insight on kind of what your thoughts are. Glenn, I'll kind of throw it to you first. Tell me about some of how you're feeling right now and why this exhibit with OMA kind of matters right now.
I am excited. I am energized by all that is happening. It's one of those things where it's like through all of the tragedy that has occurred, we are bound to triumph. And I think what's so powerful now is that we have so many folks, whether they call themselves allies or not, but you have so many people around the world, in America, in the United States, as well as around the world that are like, they're on board. And I think it's also so powerful that we have this technology, the internet, oh my gosh, to do good and to share all of this information. Like, yeah, there's a lot of bad that happens. There's a lot of, misinformation, but to amplify the good and amplify that information is our charge kind of deal. So with Orlando Museum of Art doing this event, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud. Always been a fan, and it's really cool to know that there are folks that are serious about helping us amplify our voices and giving us our own spaces to express ourselves, because that's always the biggest challenge, right? It's having autonomy, being able to control and to direct kind of our message, and they're allowing us to do that. And so I'm so excited. All of these pieces are fantastic. Like, I can't wait to jump in. So yeah, I'm excited for what's to come.
Sure. Yeah, agreed. Ricardo, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. To be honest with you, the last few months have been very, very hard for me. I have seen enough, snuff films to last a lifetime. The one thing that does kind of, I would say, give me hope is this level of like support that you're seeing from the people around you, and I think that comes in the form of art. Having some of our best artists, whether regardless of what their medium may be, whether it be in music, whether it be in painting and sculpting, drawing, film, having them do some of their best work in this time, it provides a huge amount of comfort. And, we come from this very rich history of incredible Black artists. And what people fail to forget sometimes is that, like, in the 200 and some odd years of the transatlantic slave trade, you have people who lost everything and endured such awful things, and that I won't get into now, but just awful, awful things. And for a lot of them, they held their music and their art, and those were the only things you could really pass down. So to see so many young Black artists perform and create, it's just a continuation of that long legacy of just providing comfort and expression, just to kind of get people through these times.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's perfectly stated, guys. And I'm excited too.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. Mm-hmm. I'm certainly hopeful, and I'm definitely excited to see the exhibit in person. And just as a reminder, before we go through some of the pieces, the exhibit is live now at Orlando Museum of Art through Sunday. So bring the family. You can wear your mask, you can social distance. It's perfectly safe to do so as long as you're wearing your mask and you're social distancing. And so we definitely encourage and invite you and your family to go and check out the exhibit. All the details, the hours of operation are on the screen there. You can visit oma.guide to learn more and to see the whole exhibit. So let's get into it, gentlemen. Okay, I'm going to kick things off with this first piece, because this one definitely stood out to me as we were going through and reviewing some of the artwork. She uses this piece as a reflection of herself. To kind of show, she says that she's glowing and growing through her trials. And in this depiction of herself, the artist, Alexis, there's like this combination of like pain and hope that I'm seeing. But it's like, and I think the colors on the side kind of reminded me of like fire, which sort of kind of reflects like, I don't know, adversity or struggle or tragedy through the fire. But then like she's emerging with like this blue tint, which is tranquil and serenity and hope and perseverance. So I thought this was a really beautiful piece.
Yeah.
It definitely, it's not so overtly like Black Lives Matter per se, but it's still very relevant because it's depicting a person pushing through adversity and pushing through trials to come out on the other side triumphant.
Yeah. I like it. I looked at it and I was like, wow, this person is standing strong, and all this is happening around it. That was the first thing I thought, which is similar to what you were getting at. And it just, it spoke to me on a visceral level very fast. Yeah. And you'll probably hear me say that word a lot because I felt very visceral about quite a few of these pieces.
Here's another one from Alexis. this is right in your face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like the eyes on this so much. Like, I
Yeah.
love the eyes on this, and I don't even know what I should say about it from a more cerebral aspect. It just hit me immediately when I saw the eyes on this, and I don't know who Alexa is, but she's very, very talented. This is, fantastic.
Yeah. Glenn, tell me about your thoughts on this, on this statement, land of the free, home of the slave. Like, is that in your face? Is that
That's right on point. That's right on it kind of deal. I mean, freedom isn't free. It kind of encapsulates that, and it makes us kind of think about what is freedom. What does it mean to free? Who is free? Freedom for who? And so regarding the piece as well, just the colors, I think it's great to have the red and the blue kind of in opposition, and this figure, this kind of solemn, kind of ghostly figure, just there in the center, kind of staring beyond to what is supposed to be the American dream. And I don't know, is she seeing it? Is she not? And so it's a very very haunting piece, and very very necessary at this time.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah. Let's see what else we have. Ooh.
Oh, this one was heavy.
Yeah. This one was heavy. There's
Oh,
definitely some layers to this one. Ricardo, what were your initial thoughts on this one?
Well, I can tell you that I'm in my 30s now, and I have been doing after school programs and working with young people for very, very many years. And I remember in 2016, I had a young girl in my book club who was about 10 or 11 years old, and she was crying because she had said that there was a kid in our group who was making fun of her based on what he had seen someone else do. I won't say who the famous person was, but there was a very famous person in 2016 who was saying a lot of awful things about a certain group of people. And she's Hispanic, and she was receiving that from this kid. And it always, when I saw this, it reminds me of all the awful things that children have to grow up watching and seeing and experiencing. And what we're seeing now with this inundation of all the stuff in the media is just normalizing all of it. And I just can't imagine the kind of trauma that they might be going through. That, what about the times where they don't share things with us? What about the kids who didn't come up to me and say something happened to them? It just happened, and they just kind of got along. And I think that's just awful. And when I saw this piece, I immediately thought of all those moments.
Yeah, for sure. What were your thoughts, Glenn?
Yeah, if I could add really quick that there's just something about that. I don't know if it's a dissonance, but you have this young girl with a yellow dress, a color of happiness and joy. It says laugh, live, love, in her child like innocence, and she's looking at this event, it's not laughing, living, or loving. It's real though, and I think it speaks to children who have to, just as Ricardo said, have to experience these things. And you can only imagine how they are interpreting all of these things, and how these types of snapshots, these little memories, will come back to affect them later on in life. I will also say that I like the idea that they're in pairs. That's two young ladies together, because it kind of points to that kind of shared experience in a way where it's like, yeah, they're two separate individuals, but it's something that maybe in the future they can talk about or console each other over. I don't want to read too much into it, but of course, very powerful scene. Of course, that's depicted in the street as well. So, this is a very powerful piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing that kind of stood out to me too was that this was coming from a father. So he's sort of like trying to put himself look at it through the lens of maybe his children or the friends of his children. And even the scene happening in the street, there's even a bit of a distinction between what the little black girl is witnessing versus what the little white girl or non-black girl is witnessing, and how their views of what is happening from the term of a social justice standpoint are definitely different. So this piece is beautiful. It's definitely layered, and I love that this father painted this through the eyes of his children.
Agreed.
Yes. Okay. Okay, we have another piece coming up. Ooh, this one
Oh,
was
man.
cool. I
Very
love all the
neat.
different
Like I said,
mediums.
I love Aquan.
Right.
I love this guy, man. I've
Assemblage.
known him for a couple of years now. He's just an awesome, intelligent, very talented person, and I love everything he does. So I shouldn't even speak on this because I'm biased. I think he's great. I'm biased. He's just a great guy all around. And he's actually spoken at Nerd Night quite a few times. And I hopefully when we're able to do events again, I can get him to come back.
Yeah, this piece is just super cool. What do you think, Glenn?
Oh, well, I think it's very interesting. The little small portraits or pictures of the like Jet magazine, something I'm sure a lot of us grew up with.
Oh yeah.
And like just the portrayals of these beautiful Black women of color. And then it kind of shift going to the left. I guess you're supposed to go left, right? But going to the left, you have this seemingly a traditional African figure, maybe a deity of some sort from an African traditional religion, ATR. I love the pin. We can, very very positive, very very interesting. But I feel like I need more time with it. What do you think, Kelda? How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, I agree, Glenn. There's definitely several different layers happening but the one thing that did stand out with this piece was the depictions of the Jet magazine, as you mentioned, Glenn. Certainly, the ebonies, the Jets, the Essence,
Black Enterprise,
certainly Black Enterprise, right? All publications that I'm sure many of us grew up with. But I love in this context that he's featuring all these iconic, beautiful Black women who were really upheld for their beauty and for their talent and for their femininity. Is a really refreshing image to see at this time, because we are seeing quite a lot of images of Black women sort of on the front lines and fighting and being out in protest, which is very important. But it's nice to see that balance, that in addition to being these social justice leaders, Black women can also rest in their femininity and be celebrated and upheld for their beauty and talent and femininity as well. So this piece was definitely really
Can
cool.
I add one quick thing? And
Yeah.
I just want to say one quick thing. I said earlier when we were starting that I love that we have so many artists, producing things that are this continuation of this rich legacy that we all come from. And when I see this particular one, this is specifically what I was thinking of when I said that. And Kwanzaa in general he is the embodiment of celebrating Black history and Black culture. I mean, every time I've seen him perform or speak, I learned something new. I consider myself a bit of a history buff, so it's great to see his work and to see that, and even with with this next piece, is to see that continuation of this rich legacy of our Black enterprises and businesses and publications and music and history and jazz, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah, agree. Because our history is so rich and so layered. I mean, it begins far before anything in any history book that we ever received in school. Like our legacy is so rich and so deep in this country and globally. So yeah, another piece by Kwanzaa, which is definitely beautiful as well, and it kind of gives another snapshot into another era of our history. So. Okay, ooh, now this is for the ladies. Ladies, look at these. Now, these are absolutely gorgeous. I'm ready to get my hands and my ears on these right away. They're just stunning. So I know, fellas, you may not necessarily have a whole complete appreciation of Ashley's beautiful artwork through the form of jewelry, but any initial thoughts? Maybe initial thoughts for like, what your girlfriends or wives or sisters or moms.
I think they're fantastic. I mean, I think they're fantastic. I can't comment on the particular medium of jewelry making. That's not something I know too much about, but I like the way it looks. I can say that. And
and the little that I know about jewelry making, I know that those aren't easy to make, with creating those colors, and then of course getting the metal to bend the way that you want, and then of course the symbolism. I love this one here that says, heavy is the crown, and yet she wears it as if it were a feather. Just this kind of burden that's also kind of a symbol of glory. So I love all that, everything that's happening with these pieces. Absolutely. And the skill that it takes to create them.
Yeah, that's an important point too, Glenn, about the skill and the craftsmanship that goes into a work like
Yep.
this. And additionally, I just love the fact that for women, fashion and jewelry and head wraps and clothing and
Right.
shoes have always sort of been used as a political statement, or it can be. It can be used as a very powerful statement. We've seen that through several first ladies over the years and other iconic women throughout history that their clothing, their jewelry, the way they wear their hair, makeup, all of the
Yeah.
adornments that women can wear can certainly make very powerful statements without them even having to say a word. So loved those. This was a cool piece.
Yes.
This was like some futuristic stuff going on here. Glenn, what were your initial
Yeah.
thoughts with this piece?
Let me grab, because I actually, Ricardo, if you want to, okay, I'm so sorry. I found, because I actually kind of went in on this one because I loved it so much. Personally, love anime, or anime, so just kind of seeing that kind of stylistic thing, drew me to the piece. But I said here also that themes of like black girl magic kind of come out to me with this piece. Like, you have the one figure on the left who's floating, just kind of supernaturally, in space, as this like kind of cosmic figure. And I went on to say that it's touching on the different responses in activism and passivism, because here you have the floating young lady on the left who says, I need your help, my sister. And there's the other young girl who's, or the figure that's resting and saying, our brothers and sisters need your help. And so to me, it talks about, or it kind of speaks to me saying that, there are two different figures here. You have someone who's active, who knows their power, who's floating supernatural, knows that they can wield this power and want to do something, but they want the help of the other person who might be a little bit more passive, a little bit more, they know that there's work to be done. They can see that it needs to be done, but, they're retreating on their planet, like they're good back here. So for me, there's kind of like a tension there. It's not malicious, but it just shows the two different sides of activism, the work that needs to be done when it comes to different areas of social justice, whether it be racial or regarding orientation or anything, so I just feel like, again, as we've been saying, multiple layers, and I just love the way that it's depicted, the style of the piece.
Yeah, agreed. It's definitely unique. And here's another piece from the same artist, Ashley Bell.
Yeah.
This one there's definitely more layers to this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely is.
And I like that it's a bit more abstract. The figure is not as, detailed as the other piece. And that's all I can say for now. Like, I know I'll need to spend more time with it, but I do love the colors for sure. I'm definitely a colorist. Well, not in the social goodness, as I say
you're
that.
Good. You're in the good sense.
Regarding art, the art form, in art you have color field and people that are into color and the meaning of color in art, the plastic arts, painting. Good Lord, not,
we got you, Glenn. You're
gotcha.
Really good. You're a hewist.
Goodness, I'm like, let me make sure I'm so exactly. So love all of that, but colors are great artists. Next.
Absolutely. You are a hewist, as I would say.
Oh, hewist. That's a better way.
Yeah,
Thank
right?
You. I've learned something.
You appreciate different hues, different artistic
I shame my sister. I have learned something new.
Right. I got you. So this one's definitely more on the more abstract side of things from the artist Brian Bliss. And this one is called Blood Trail. So that's another kind of for anyone viewing. If you can't see it very clearly, the title of the work is Blood Trail. So that kind of maybe gives you a little bit more insight into exactly what the artist is looking to depict here. I think at first I thought it was a spear, but upon reading the title, I quickly realized it's a streak of blood. So he's putting it out there, kind of, if there wasn't this artist statement with it, maybe what those initial emotions, what that would evoke for you. Ricardo, anything kind of stood out to you with this piece?
Yeah, and it's funny with art, it's important to remember that, our interpretation of what we take away from the piece says more about us than it does about the work.
Right.
Mm.
And with a piece that is more abstract, a piece that's more minimalistic, and they're less obvious movements or shapes or more familiar images, you see more into yourself, really. So when I saw this, I imagined like a meteor like coming in and ripping through a planet, and this is like the streak right here, and like the world is in two, and I was like, oh God, that's how I feel. I feel like our whole world is like coming apart. And it took, when I saw that, I mean, that's what I immediately felt, and I had to think about why I felt that way.
Right.
And I wonder if the artist, shares a similar feeling. But in reality, all I can really speak on is it made me feel like, everything that we have is just kind of coming apart, but it's not apart completely.
If I could nerd out really quick, as you say meteor, I didn't think of that when I first saw it. But now looking at it, this is the blurred coming out. It looks almost like the icon on Final Fantasy VII merchandise of the Calamity. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's what it looks like in a way. I don't know. I like Final Fantasy. Sephiroth. No, I'm kidding. But if I were to add really quick regarding, again, the colors used, hueism, yellow and purple or violet are complementary colors. They're on the opposite sides of the color spectrum. So there's something about that kind of clash between these two, that, it's almost kind of violent visually in a way. And I feel like I'm reading violent, only after reading the artist statement. But I also love abstract work. So this was just like a yes for me. How about you, Kelda? What do you think? How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, I love how with the artist in his statement, he says, when art mirrors life and life mirrors art. And I think that goes back to how Ricardo felt when he initially saw it. It's like you had to look inward to determine why that immediate reaction existed when he saw this piece. So yeah, very cool. Love that piece. Benjamin McKinney, this is his transformation piece. Initial thoughts, gentlemen. Contracting COVID. Oh, let's read the artist statement. Contracting COVID has given me the creative spark I've been looking for. I have turned a curse into a blessing. So wow, it's like this powerful image of this kind of looks like waters kind of clashing together for me, but it's like an explosion as well. What do you guys think of this piece, particularly knowing the backstory from the artist?
Well, I've always liked pieces that don't look like a photograph. I kind of like, I mean, that isn't to say that I wouldn't like something that's a portrait of someone or something like that.
Right.
But I like the fact that it doesn't initially look like something that already exists. So that appeals to me on a personal level. And the fact that I have to kind of figure, almost kind of try to figure it out literally, but then look into myself, more figuratively, to what it means to me, that speaks to me. And it's just an image that I like for that reason. And I do like the use of color, and I like the kind of like the natural splash that you kind of see with the strokes of the brush strokes, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Huge fan of abstraction again. Love everything that you both have said. And I do remember when I first saw this, I did make an argument for this, especially because of the artist statement. I feel like, when it comes to inclusion and identity, there's something to be said of those who, every day suffer from or have an illness. That's a form of an identity. And I feel like there are those who have contracted COVID who would have never thought something like this would have happened in their life, now have it, and as we all know, you can be asymptomatic and all of these other things. But I think it's powerful that this artist, Benjamin, has used that experience to create these beautiful images. I love it.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly, Glenn. I think the other kind of statement here too goes back to the very first piece that we saw, is like this triumphant and perseverance through something, tragic or traumatizing or something difficult, emerging on the other side of it resilient. And I think to, Benjamin as the artist, he says it right here. He turned something that was a negative into a positive. Like this going through COVID, fighting through COVID and coming out on the other side, spurred this energy and this enthusiasm to produce this beautiful art. So I think kind of the theme so far for me is definitely like triumphant.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, sorry, continue.
No, go make your point, Carlos.
So I was just going to say that I noticed about the second one is that the color black seems to be the only consistent kind of pattern. All the other colors seem to be more of like at random, maybe. I don't know if that's the point, but they seem to literally be at random, while the black one seems to be creating this kind of consistent stream across.
Wow, that might be another layer that
Right.
another hidden layer.
I love it. It's like an onion. Peel them back.
Yes, literally. All
Tear
of
up
these
on the inside in the best ways.
That's what this is doing. There's so many layers to each of these pieces. So this is phenomenal. This is such an awesome opportunity to be a part of this with OMA. And here's another piece from the artist Carlos. And so yes. Do you know Carlos too, Ricardo?
I do know Carlos.
Who
Yeah.
doesn't? Ricardo now. Come on, let's be honest.
I know,
But
right?
I think a lot of people know Carlos. Yeah. I was just reading his artist statement, and it's interesting that he wrote that in this and this piece. You know, I feel oftentimes folks of, you know, particularly of Afro-Latino ancestry, you know, or heritage, they get kind of left out of the conversation a lot of times. And, you know, whether we're always talking about, you know, particular cultures within the more macro sense, you know, not as specific as folks who may come from a Latin American country but have African descent, you know, and oftentimes deal with a lot of colorism. I mean, I don't know if Carlos has experienced that particularly, but folks that have that heritage often are, you know, victims of colorism in terms of, you know, whether you're lighter, you have more better preferential treatment than somebody who's darker, and so on and so forth. So to have these different complexions in this piece, I think is very important, and it makes a very bold statement.
Yeah, I would agree, Carlos or Ricardo. I'm looking at Carlos and Ricardo. I would agree, Ricardo, with your point about, you know, colorism and racism, and, you know, all of those things it's so much bigger than just our world, our country, our nation. It really is a global, from a global view, what all people have to kind of grapple with. Maybe it looks a little bit different with different countries or different ethnicities, but it's a global issue. And so I love the fact that he sort of highlighted this in this piece. And these women are absolutely gorgeous. So
Stunning.
this is beautiful.
Stunning.
Yeah, very beautiful. Let's see, what else do we have? Ooh, some more photography.
I thought this was Sheila E. when I saw it. I don't know if you guys know who Sheila E. is.
Oh, yes.
I just thought it was like this like legendary,
Yeah.
you know, pop singer performer from like the 70s or 80s when I first looked at it. Like, I thought it was like a collage of like Sheila E. and Donna Summer or something. And I was like, I don't recognize the face, but I know who that is. And of course I was wrong. It was
You know what it is? I think it's something about the makeup style, maybe that heavy eye, that, you know, the black. I mean, you know better than I do, Kelda. I'm just what I'm looking at, and I'm thinking of LPs with, like, you know, Donna Summers and whatnot.
Yeah.
But no, very gorgeous. And I like the artist statement as well. I think it is very important, as we've been saying, taking note of and addressing colorism and all the different shades, and you know, all of our different perspectives, all the different lenses, you know, in a way that we're looking through that kind of shade our perception, our worldview. So I think it's powerful. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I really love this one too, and I love that the artist took some time to actually touch on the topic of colorism, because it is one of those topics that it's certainly uncomfortable to talk about within the Black community and with other minority groups as well, but it certainly exists, and it definitely is another issue that certainly should be addressed and talked about more. But again, it's also rooted in you know, some of the sins of the past of globally. But if we continue to talk about it and have these conversations, then we have a better shot of working through some of these very complex and layered issues. So it's so awesome that OMA is actually putting this on and allowing a platform for us to have these kind of conversations. So, we have another piece. Let's
Yes.
see this one. Oh, this one was cool. So there's this heart that's very visible, right? And then there's all of
Mm,
these colors, but then there's also these different statements, these different words, affirmations inside of the heart. And the artist titles this More Than Words. So there's family, there's faith, there's safety, there's change, there's hope. I love this piece because it's it's a highlight of sort of some very similar value systems that I have. I don't know if the
mm,
artist is definitely is trying to portray their own value systems, but these are certainly ones that I have. And she even injects the term roller coaster in there. So it's like
mm.
all of these emotions and all of these things that she's feeling in her heart, and they're all kind of happening at the same time. Um,
Mhm.
what do you guys think of this piece?
You know, the first thing I just thought of was that all these things, these words that she has written, um, are all pieces of her heart. That's what I took away
Mhm.
from that. And
Yeah.
as you pointed out, you know, you share some of the, you know, the things, you know, the value of the things written on written on the piece, and it shows how universal some of these, you know, words are and how useful they are and important things to keep with you.
Yeah, yeah, and I would add to that too. It's like I like this piece because it's also a good reminder that although there appears to be a lot of division within our
Mhm.
nation and globally, at the core of us as human beings, we all truly still want the same things. We want peace and love and security and happiness. We value family and
Right.
relationships. The core of us is still really much the same, even though our perspectives, our life experiences, our backgrounds, our races, our ethnicities are different. So I love that, just that nice reminder that we all still really are the same and we all still really are one.
Mm,
This was a really cool piece.
mm.
This one is just giving me like va 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 voom, like,
Mhm.
hey girl, I'm here. Look at me. I'm here. I'm powerful. I'm strong. I'm beautiful.
Mhm.
But there's layers to me. There's complexities here. I've got
Mm,
something to say. I've got an opinion. I've got value systems. And I think the artist projects that with the title "More to Me." So,
mm.
gentlemen, give me your initial thoughts upon viewing this piece.
I mean, I will say that it felt very bold, and
Oh, yeah.
I love the use of the colors. And it's interesting to see, you know, a portrait, and I assume it's based on her statement that it's a self portrait. Um, and I mean, well, one could argue that all art is a self portrait, but I assume that it was a self portrait. I loved how she showed herself not smiling. And
Mm,
oftentimes, when we take a photograph of ourselves, we're just assumed that we're supposed to be smiling, or we tell the person we're taking a picture of to smile. But when you have an opportunity to do something of yourself in this particular medium, to show yourself in this very kind of like strong, you know, pose, and then
Yeah.
not be smiling, I think is a very bold statement in itself.
Mhm.
yeah.
One thing I'm very oh, sorry, just to quickly add, looking at the hair, I'm interested in seeing it in person because I'm curious if what I'm seeing, if there's some sort of texture to the way that the paint was applied. It seems like some strands of
Mm,
the locks had some, yeah, like towards the top. I don't know. It might
yeah.
just be my eyes, but I'm very interested. It's something that I'm very much into when it comes to painting, like the kind of impasto technique, thick,
Mm,
bits of paint and to add texture. So I
yeah.
definitely want to see that in person. I cannot
Yeah.
wait to, yeah. So, but yeah, beautiful, beautiful work.
Yeah, really
Very
beautiful. Yeah, I would agree. I definitely look forward to seeing that one in person and too. And just one more point on this, on that other
no,
piece
go
before we
for it.
transition. I know we have to keep moving, but the artist also mentions that she's an openly queer woman. I think it's so important in our conversations about diversity and inclusion to that we are open and we are injecting all voices, because even though we all may be Black, all of our
Right.
different life experiences are are certainly different and diverse. So yeah, beautiful artwork there. So here's another piece. Again, this was one that was on the onset. It's very clear this is about, George Floyd. This is definitely a symbolism of this man's life. But looking a little bit closer, there's definitely many more layers and definitely many more aspects going on. And the artist titles it 8 minutes and 46 seconds to immortality. And I think, unfortunately, we all know exactly what that title is referencing. So, gentlemen, initial thoughts or other thoughts on this piece?
I'll just say that it just really breaks my heart that we even know who this man is. We should have never known who he was. He shouldn't have to be famous. And every time I see something that is a reminder of his tragic murder, it's a reminder that there are so many people that we know their names, but we shouldn't have had to. But I mean, this is a beautiful portrait of Mr. Floyd, and I definitely commend the artist for creating this.
Correct. And I'll say that, of course, know and understand and am also heartbroken by the figure represented, but I am so curious about all of the other symbols of the flies and the colors used. Like, I would love to really get to talk to this artist and understand a little bit more, because of course I see the artist statement and I understand where they're coming from, but I just love to know a little bit more. So I like this because it leaves me wanting to know more and understand what the artist is. Yeah, and as well, this one,
Yeah, agreed. And Glenn, that's actually a perfect sort of moment for us to inject that as a nice reminder to our viewers that OMA will be hosting the actual live broadcast of Create, Listen, Learn this Thursday, August 6th. So you definitely want to make sure you're back here tuning in. We'll be able to hear from several of the artists, and we'll be able to go a little bit more in depth on some of their artwork. So
and they can vote online, correct?
Yes, absolutely. They'll have the opportunity
to vote online.
Yes,
it looks like yes, there it is.
There it is.
Favorite artist.
There's
the URL.
Yes, so all the information is right there, and I'm so excited about Thursday. I definitely cannot wait. And here's another piece from Jesus Marin, and this one is called Timeless, and he references in the artist statement Healing Heart. So this is a sculpture, which I think is the first one that we've seen so far. And this one is simply gorgeous. Like, this is something that I could certainly see myself being displayed in my home or in my office setting. This is beautiful. Healing Hearts. He says, my angels are expressing the human healing process during emotional and physical loss. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of us can kind of relate to both the physical and emotional, either loss or trauma or pain, just because there's just been a whole lot going on right now. And I think this piece is a really beautiful reminder of hope. Again, that term perseverance, resilience. This figure to me just represents hope. What are your thoughts, Ricardo?
I'm originally from New York, so to have kind of religious themed sculpture figures, is a commonplace thing for New Yorkers, particularly for folks who went to Catholic school. And so for me, I looked at it and it just felt very familiar to me. It felt like something that my grandmother would have had in her home, 20, 30 years ago. So,
yeah, for sure. And, and myself as a woman of faith, a person of faith, this certainly resonates with me. But even, if a person doesn't necessarily consider themselves religious or whatever, this can still speak to you because I think it's more of a symbolism of hope. And that's something that we all need, regardless of what your political affiliations, your religious background, no matter what you believe, if you don't believe in nothing, like we all need hope at the core of us as humans.
And
so
in the past, all art was commissioned by the church. I mean, think of all the famous pieces that we learn about in school, the Sistine Chapel, the Statue of David, these are all things that the church spent, very many dollars on, and it took artists very many years to complete. So, there's a very thick connection between, our religions and public art.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ricardo. Ooh, now this piece is amazing. It's called Inclusion to Seclusion. And I think even the title alone is like, that's layered. Like, I want to hear from the artist about even the title. She writes in the artist statement, I believe as a woman and mother that vulnerability demonstrates true strength. Ooh, that's powerful.
Oh yeah.
Glenn, what are your thoughts, your initial thoughts on when viewing this piece?
Well, I love the mask. That's very
Yeah.
neat. Like, with the little rainbow tongue, and as you mentioned, that title, it talks about just how, as you know in, inclusive as there's something about, and maybe I don't want to interpret this wrong, but there's something about us all being kind of, at a place now where we're forced to be away from each other. We're,
Mm.
we're kind of together in that
Ooh.
we're sharing this experience of apartness, of separateness. And so I really do, I love that title. And I also love, in another sense, exactly how she says it, that vulnerability. There's something about admitting to each other. It's like there's a meme that's going around now that's just, it's just something to along the lines of, we're all going through a lot. And if you're up and you're going about your day, like, cherish that, celebrate that, because it's not easy right now to just, keep going about life. So yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
vulnerability is really coming out in all of us, and it's great that we're able to talk about it and share it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And these are gorgeous. So we've just kind of seen three different versions of different
Yes.
women, and it's
Yeah.
going back to her statement about vulnerability
Oh,
demonstrates true strength. The power to let down your guards and be vulnerable, particularly during these times when you may be going through a lot, is so important, because we really do all need each other. And so we just saw three very different women,
yep.
and they all look, you can tell they got a lot on their mind, a lot on their heart, but they're pushing through it, and they're allowing themselves to be vulnerable and to show that vulnerability, without becoming too burdened by it. Like, they're still pushing through for their families, for their communities, but you can tell that, but that there's definitely some additional things going on there. So these are
Mhm.
beautiful. I would love to hear more about these pieces from the artists as well. Ooh, okay. Here's another one, guys, that is certainly layered. And the
Ah,
artist titles this "And His Mother, and His Mother, and His Mother Too." So there's this very clear image of tears, right?
mm,
And then there's also these hands reaching out. It looks like they're reaching out to bring in this other figure. My thought is maybe these hands with inside coming out of the window are the women or the mothers or the sisters,
yeah.
and they're reaching for their son, their husband, their brother, their uncle, their
Mm,
friend, this man figure. This
mhm.
is powerful. Ricardo, what are your thoughts on this one?
When I saw it, my initial thought was that you have different people reaching out for something, and it makes you wonder, what are they reaching out for? Are they reaching out for each other? Are they reaching out for hope? Are they reaching out to get out? And
Ooh.
when I see some of the ones that are coming through the window areas, I imagine people reaching out to get out of where they are.
Mm.
And you have this person on the far right of the piece who seems to be maybe reaching out to take their hands. And the hands obviously are for me the focal point of the piece. I mean, the eye is like right there in the middle, and it seems kind of abstract to just have an eye right in the middle by
Yeah.
itself. But for me, I feel like the piece is about hands and about people reaching out for each other, maybe.
So interestingly enough, and this piece seems to maybe go along with the way I'm interpreting it, with that last piece. Instead of seeing the hands, the hands reaching into the individual as if they needed his help, I was kind of interpreting it as there's this figure who's maybe trapped in a box in a house, and there are these windows to the world, and there are these women who might not be his biological mother, but this is a mother that's reaching in to help him. Here's another mother who might be a supervisor that's reaching in, and then another, mother that might be someone, especially for the gay and queer community, a mother in a house, who is this person that is helping them. That eye for me symbolizes maybe like a universal, that all-seeing eye, and that sadness that comes with seeing, Black men, being
Right.
treated or having to deal with the struggles that they're dealing with. And it's like, let's reach in to help you, kind of like, it takes a village, to raise a
Yeah,
child. That's
yeah.
kind of what and even in this one too, that's what I'm feeling. Of course, I could be wrong. I'll also say really quick, I know Ra Black, Ra Bellion, Rajuhn Black, a brother of mine, and I love all of his work. And I feel like, a lot, he comes from a very spiritual and often kind of mystical or mythological kind of point of view, which
Mhm.
I adore. And so I feel like that's why, like, the eeriness of like that eye, these are like universal themes I would imagine that he's trying to portray. So that's what I'm seeing.
Ooh,
That's what I'm feeling.
wow.
Yeah.
This is so cool. I love how we can look at the same
Yeah.
piece and kind of have slightly different perspectives of what the artist may be trying to convey.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Okay, here is Immigrant Woman. Ooh. So I like the fact that, at the forefront of this conversation, it seems to be very heavy on, Black Lives Matter, Black lives, minority lives, from the sense of like Black people. But now we're seeing a bit more of a transition with this as immigrant women. These are women who clearly maybe not be from one country. They're coming in from different places, but they have their own set of struggles and their own set of challenges by being women. Maybe they come from different socioeconomic backgrounds and they're immigrants into a different country. So
Mhm.
Ricardo, what were your initial thoughts on this piece?
I looked at that piece, and my first thought was that they're just four women together, very calm. Like,
Hmm.
I just imagine, in the artist statement, the artist talked about it being a portrait of his grandmother, and I imagine, immigrant women dealing with so much, you know, being an immigrant and then being a woman,
Right.
those in and itself have their own struggles, and then to have those things together 100 years ago, when in fact, women did not have very many rights or had the ability to do very many things. So
Right.
to see them just sitting so kind of comfortably and politely makes me think that they're just dealing with so much, but they're remaining themselves. They're steadfast within that scenario.
There,
And
for me, oh, sorry.
no, that's it. Yeah.
There's a resolve, as you're saying. There's a steadfastness. There's a resolve of, and I'm reading the artist statement, and I'm so taken by this, that these are, it looks like what it's the grandmother and three sisters, and they immigrated from Scotland, and here they are coming to the U.S. To this new land of opportunity, and they have each other. And having been through, as the artist is saying, their sons and grandsons, fighting in wars, and I'm sure they've seen enough, and they want better for their family, and so they're just here together to say, let's do this, sisters. Let's make this happen. So yeah, it
Yeah.
is just, there is a calmness about it. There's a stillness, a
Mhm.
sereneness that makes this very powerful, and you can see like their eyes are all gazing kind of in different ways too. um,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
there's they feel the weight of their experience, but there's also like that hope. That hope is there too.
Right.
And then here's another piece. This one's called
Oh, this is the same
Self-Determination.
artist. Oh, that was the same
Yes.
artist. Oh, okay.
Yes, from the same artist. So that maybe her intent was to exactly what we kind of ejected from that was
Yeah.
these women are coming into this very kind of almost scary place, but that
Yeah.
self-determination, that
Mm.
resolve, that perseverance is still at the forefront for them.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think this will unfortunately be our last
Right.
artwork that we'll have an opportunity to review. This has been such a delight, gentlemen, and this last work is called Crown, and this one is certainly very near and dear to me as a
Yeah.
woman and a professional woman in the professional world. Hair has often been a very pivotal comment, a very source of a lot of source of discussion for me in the workplace and just in life in general. And so, of course, with the Crown Act being passed more recently through the state, it's just been like another win, another step
Mhm.
in the right direction, another gentle reminder that we have a long way to go, but we're moving slowly in the right direction. So This piece definitely is beautiful. I'm pretty sure I've had each one of these hairstyles and more. Probably
Right.
on Thursday. Just to
Right.
warn y'all, probably on Thursday, y'all
Right.
see me with a different hairstyle.
Love it.
So,
I
it's
love
just,
this, and I know
yeah,
it's
I love
really
it
simple and
too.
it
What
seems like a
are your
sketch,
thoughts?
but
Yeah,
I
what are your thoughts?
love it because the fact that it's called Crown makes me love it more.
Mhm.
Because there's such a level of pride that comes with how your hair is styled, like how your fashion is. And as you pointed out, you know, it can be challenging in the workplace for certain hairstyles. I mean, hair is very, very much policed in a many professional settings. I remember one time I had kind of like this, like, you know, short kind of fro thing going, and my boss was like, you know, this is I don't know if this is gonna work. And this is when I was like 20 or 21, so this is
Oh, wow.
very many years ago. But no, I love it, and I love that it's called Crown, and I love that, you know, you can wear your hair as a source of pride, and it's an art form in itself to, you know, design hair and to wear it as such.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And for me, there's just something about the simplicity of the technique. It's line drawings that kind of, you know, bring that expound on this much bigger and more, you know, profound topic, you know. And it's just so meaningful. So love this work. Simple, but so meaningful.
Yeah, I really love this artist's style. I don't know who this is,
Yeah.
but I love her style.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely would love to talk to her more. Of course, this one, wow, like this is, and there's, so of course, aside from the crown, right, the natural coils of this woman, but there's also her Afro pick there, right? Which is adorned with the fist. So she's, again, it's that reminder that hair. Oh, people think, oh, hair is frivolous. Who cares about hair? No, hair is very powerful. Just like earlier, we talked about how fashion and jewelry and other adornments can make certain political statements. So can hair, and this is a perfect reminder of that. The way we
hair is so
ourselves
important that people were willing to break COVID lockdown to get an edge up or to get a fade hooked up.
There you
Right.
They needed to be staying home. They needed to be at their houses.
Right.
But they knew they
Exactly.
couldn't edge their hair up, but they couldn't cut their bangs right. So they were like, I'm going to risk getting COVID just to get my hair done.
Right. You know, it's important. We all, as
Your
all
appearance.
of us, are right. As humans, our appearance is important, but it's something about, for Black women in particular, though, you know, it's definitely, you know, we definitely have this added pressure when it comes to our hair. But again, beautiful. I can't wait to learn more about this artist and some of their work going forward.
Correct.
So, yeah, gentlemen, I think that wraps. I'm so sad that this is ending. This has been a blast. This has been so much fun.
It's been a great time. And I don't know if we've already mentioned this. I'm sorry, I was late again, still here at work. But the selection process included, you know, local professionals from all over Orlando. Of course, Kelda with Black Orlando Tech, Ricardo with Nerd Night, myself with University of Central Florida. We also have Josh Walker with Black Orlando Tech, Dali with Fusion Fest, Michael Caibio with the College of Arts and Humanities as well, and Chris James with Orlando Museum of Art. And with along with Jimmy, our coordinator here, we have been you know, sharing these artworks via Google, thanks technology, and we're able to kind of go through all of these works. And so this has definitely been a democratic selection process, and it's something that I'm looking forward to in the future. So yeah, please come out or stream August 6th, this Thursday.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for those reminders, Glenn. And also to sort of recap everything, as Glenn mentioned, this Thursday night we will be streaming live to view all of the artwork. And then again, you are welcome to view the artwork in person. They will be on display at OMA through Sunday, August 9th. You can find out more about the hours on the OMA website. And again, this is free of charge. So come out, go bring your friends, bring your family. This is a perfect opportunity for the little ones as well to view some really amazing art by local artists. Ricardo, you mentioned a little earlier People's Choice Awards. Again, the website for that is omart.me/People's Choice. So be sure to vote for your favorite artwork, and we'll be reviewing those this Thursday night. The link is there on the screen. And then just a few final announcements. I know that BOT is super thrilled to be partnering with OMA for this event and for this initiative. And just as a reminder, OMA has some amazing other things that are coming up for you and your family to enjoy. So be sure to check out the OMA website for everything that's coming up. They can even purchase their date night kits, which is, I mean, we could all use a little, a little date night, maybe, right? Some of us could, if we've been in,
I
if
don't know
we've
if
been in
I
quarantine.
afford one, but I would love to have one.
Well, OMA can help, and Pink Floyd's one of my favorites. Pink Floyd's local. They're partnering up to do something really cool for all the lovers and the couples out there. So go to the OMA website to learn more about that. So, gentlemen,
really quick. So sorry. It looks like there's a phone number as well. You could call 1-833-PIG-LOVE. And then there's also a link on Instagram that you can access as well. But I think the most important one is the omart.me/OMA news.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Glenn. We definitely want to make sure that all of our viewers are getting all of these announcements because OMA has some amazing things coming up. So yes, that number again is 1-833-PIG-LOVE. You can get your date night kits and your free passes to OMA to view everything that's going on there. So I think that's all of our announcements, gentlemen. Again, this has been a blast. Any final words? Ricardo, I'll start with you.
I just want to say it was wonderful to join you all for this. I love art and history, and I'm a big buff on both. And it's a real treat to be able to chat about it and see these wonderful young artists tell their stories.
Absolutely, Glenn.
Yeah, I want to thank Orlando Museum of Art. Thank you both, Kelda and Ricardo, for being here. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Jimmy, our production manager, and the marketing manager over there at Orlando Museum of Art for bringing us on, putting this all together. And yeah, we look forward to the event on Thursday night. So please come out and support or log in and stream.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. Be sure to visit blackorlandotech.org if you'd like to learn more about our programs, our initiatives, or how you can support our mission. Thanks, OMA. Thanks, Jimmy and team. This has been a blast, and we look forward to seeing you guys this Thursday night. Have a great night.
Later.